what I want to know is, okay, we have to tell stories. We have to tell them internally, externally, as product people. How do we do that? Because I grew up in a household where my dad every day, he would read whatever I was writing, he would read, and he would tell me to delete all of it and just say what you mean.
I love that. Say what you mean.
Yeah, he would say, tell me what you're trying to do here. And
I think
tell him, and he'd say, write that. So like, how do you teach people to get better at copywriting?
That is such a good lesson, the say what you mean thing.
Yeah. Read it out loud, say what you mean.
Read it out loud, say what you mean. So like, it's crazy because those are two things that if you told anybody with that, they would agree. That makes sense.
Right, of course.
For me, like I just had to learn this lesson, which is like, I think you have to be confident. You can't just roll in anywhere and say what you mean. That's how you write. You're like, you have to be confident and like have shown that this works. But like for me, I read something once, it might have been an old copywriting book, and the person who wrote the book said, oh, I know what it is. I think it was this Eugene Schwartz breakthrough advertising, this book, right? And at the beginning of the book, he said, first of all, and it's a book about copywriting, he said, before we go any further, in order to be successful at copywriting and storytelling, you need to throw out everything that they told you about grammar in school. And I was like, okay, great, because I don't know my nouns from my adverbs from whatever, right? Like, sorry, I don't. But I can get people to understand me, and I think, and what that book made me realize is it's more important to be understood than it is to be grammatically correct.
Yep.
And so you can beat me up all day for my grammar, a typo, this and that, but my only thing I care about is, did you understand what I was trying to say? And I think sometimes we just get too lost in like the how you get there, right?
Yeah.
Like the story piece of it. And so like your dad's advice is so good. It's like, just say what you mean, right? You ever like, you're having a conversation with like your spouse or somebody and you're like, you talk and you're like, all right, you know what? I'm just going to cut right to it. Here's what I mean. Like, that is the money. That's what you, chunk out all, like, rip away all that stuff, and that's your 10%. And most of the time, you only need that 10%. And it's the same thing why, like, Steve Jobs was obsessed with simplicity at Apple, right? There's a quote, I don't know who, some famous author, maybe it was Thoreau or something like that, said, like, simplify. And there was a quote from, like, if Steve Jobs wrote the quote, simplify, it would have been just simplify. Why didn't you just say it twice? He said it. Everything was just dead simple, and I think that's really hard to do.
Okay. But how do you say what you mean, but how do you teach people to do it? You say, okay, they need to simplify, but how?
Yeah. One of the tricks that I learned early on here was everything I wrote, I have to say it out loud. Say it out loud. And I don't mean like grab your piece of paper and be like, hello, today on Build, I'm talking to Maggie, right? No, say it out loud. Like I was standing in line at a coffee shop, like, oh, I'm pumped, Maggie's going to be on the podcast later. Same thing. Right? But real.
Right.
And we're all people, and I think the biggest change is like there's not like work Dave who reads things with his work brain in one way and then like home Dave. We're all people. And so I think saying it out loud and you need a coach. You need somebody who's going to question every word that you write. And so like I had DC ripping apart every email and blog post and whatever and tweet even that I wrote in the early days. And he would just screenshot stuff and be like, would you really say that out loud?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
and
true.
That's such an easy guardrail. With just like, would you say that out loud? And anytime I ask that to someone, usually they're like, no, you're right.
Right. Or they start reading and they get 3 words in and they stumble.
Because they know.
Right. And then they realize that they wouldn't say it out loud.
Yeah, don't say it out loud.
Yeah, we do the same thing on the product team occasionally. I think Alexa and I yesterday were talking about something, and she asked for some feedback, and I just said, I don't understand what you're trying to say. And then she explained it to me, and I was like, write that. Yeah. Just write what you said.
That.
Yeah.
Another hack is like use their words. So like, I'm giving you so many secrets right now. Yeah. One of them is like, you got one. Say it. What'd you say? Say it like you mean it? No.
Say what you mean.
Say what you mean. Simplify. Say it out loud.
Yep.
One of the most important one is to use their words.
Okay.
If you're trying to write copy for anything in product, my guess is it's already been written somewhere, right?
Absolutely.
Especially if you're building product.
That's something that product people don't like to hear.
What?
They want to build a new thing. They want to build their own thing.
Innovate.
Don't invent. Yeah.
Right? There's a great old wiki post here at Drift from DC, which is like, here's how a product manager would design a chair. Have you seen that one?
I haven't, but I can imagine.
And it's like this, like, I don't know where he found this picture, but it's like this woman in this like futuristic looking like chair that goes like around her head, and it's like basically like a ball.
Right.
And it's like that's how a product manager engineer would build a chair.
It has every feature you could ever imagine.
Whereas like why not copy a chair and make it like slightly more comfortable?